Hi there. My name is Robert Anthony. I am an experienced JIRA administrator who has been working with various versions of JIRA and Confluence since 2009. I have done JIRA and Confluence work for Disney, Imagemetrics, iPayment, ProSearch Strategies, and others. I have been working at Expium for a year as an instructor and as an administrator. Expium provides consulting services and support for instances of all sizes and levels of customization. We work with some of the largest companies in the country and would be happy to help you if you require assistance setting up your Service Desk instance or have any other questions regarding JIRA and its supported applications. You can contact an Expium representative through this channel, or you can visit our website at www.expium.com. If you'd like to follow along with your own JIRA instance, be sure to have the Service Desk application installed. You can get there by clicking the administration cog and then selecting Discover New Applications. This will allow you to search for Service Desk and install a free trial. You may want to perform trials in a sandbox environment to not disturb your live installation. Let's get started. When we think of a standard installation of JIRA, we think of simple to complex project management, custom tailored to our unique processes internally. Service Desk is essentially JIRA with additional options that are support-centric. At its core, Service Desk is an additional layer to the standard JIRA project management concept for external users. Usually you don't want to have to direct your external users to your internal JIRA instance and have them worry about ticket creation, monitoring, etc. You also don't want to have to set up a JIRA account for them if they're only filing one ticket a month. Service Desk takes care of all that by giving you the tools to create a simple interface for your external users, and also allowing an unlimited number of these users, called customers, to file tickets through this interface. It also allows filing of these different request types in queues, and SLA creation and monitoring for great management transparency within your support team. One important note is that to utilize the features of Service Desk, you have to create a specific Service Desk project. This lets JIRA know that you would like the additional Service Desk administrative layer applied to that project. This is done just like creating a basic project in JIRA. You should now see 3 different types of Service Desk projects listed in the project creation screen. Basic Service Desk is used just to field standard requests. It's best implemented for a simple help desk to allow users to write in issues and concerns. IT Service Desk is best served for internal IT groups who want more business IT request types out of the box for their project, like an incident change management request, for example. Customer service is tailored for direct support with external customers. We're going to go with the IT Service Desk, and to go down the list of options you can configure, select Next. We then provide a name and customize the key if needed. After creation of the project, you should now be presented with the project overview page, which may look a little different in the main area depending on if this is your first project created with Service Desk. I'm going to go over all the high-level features in here, but we're going to start by clicking on the little people icon right here, which brings us to the Customers section. From a basic standpoint, JIRA projects are usually only made up of users, administrators, and system administrators. However, there are 3 different types of users in Service Desk: administrators, agents, and customers. Administrators are just like standard JIRA admins in that they handle the overall configuration of the project. Agents are like users of Service Desk. They are the ones who actually act on the tickets on the JIRA side. Customers are on the client side. They are the ones who create the requests, which are viewed as tickets from the agent side. Customers do not count towards your license count. Atlassian has recently added the organization feature as well, which allows you to group customers to share against different Service Desk projects. This is important because during this creation process, adding individual users again and again can be very time-consuming. To add a new customer, I simply click Add Customer and fill in the email address information. I can also choose to add the users to an existing organization automatically from the same pop-up. I then click the Add button, and the information is saved. In this same area, you'll see that I can add a new organization by clicking here and filling in the details. I then click the name and select Add, and that organization is now listed right here under the first one. By default, all JIRA users on your instance are existing customers. You can adjust these permissions quickly and easily by clicking the link marked Change Permissions above the list of customers. This will bring you to the Service Desk Administration section. This section is also accessible by clicking the Settings cog located at the bottom of the project overview icons. You can select the first option, which will allow customers that you specify to raise requests. You can keep the default selection, which allows everybody with a JIRA account to be customers for this. You can also select the third option, which opens up your portal to anyone. We'll talk more about portals in a bit. The bottom three options are share permissions, which control how a customer can share access to an existing request. The top option only allows sharing with other customers in the same organization. If you aren't utilizing organizations in your customer settings, this option is pretty much useless. The middle option allows sharing by typing in an email address of any other existing customer with an email address on file. The third option allows it to be shared with any customer or organization. If you have chosen to share access to your portal with everyone, customer accounts will be created automatically for users when requests are shared with them, if they don't already have a customer account on file. For this demo, we're only going to be focused on the settings in this section. All the other settings are identical to other standard projects in JIRA. Let's start with the request types section. One major difference between standard JIRA and Service Desk is request types. However, make no mistake, at their core, they are all still issues. Essentially, the request type is another wrapper you put around the issue. As you can see here, while adding a new request type, you assign it an issue type. This distinction is important because many different request types can be assigned to one issue type, which in turn can be assigned to one workflow. Why wouldn't you just use the same issue type for everything? Well, down here, the issue type for system problem is incident. Its workflow is different, and it also needs to have a much shorter SLA time because it deals with a much bigger problem. While the customer is in the portal, they can type a simple request, which Service Desk then tries to match with the different request types you have specified here. I'm going to create one, mouse request, and use the same service request issue type. On the far left of this main screen area, you also see a location for groups. These groups are basically categories for the request types to sit in. When on the portal, the user can alternately browse these categories instead of searching via the text box. To add a new group, simply click this link, provide the name, then click Save. You can then fill up this group with new request types, or you can put existing request types in this group. Request types are not exclusive to one group. They can be placed in as many groups as you wish. It's totally up to you. Now, let's take a look at our portal configuration settings. We're going to click on the Portal Settings link in the Project Settings menu. This page allows you to customize your customer-facing portal. This first link will actually bring you to the portal itself, so we'll go there last. This first text box allows you to rename your portal. By default, it will match your project name in JIRA, but you can customize it. You can also set some introductory text in this box or remove it completely. Here you can choose a logo for your business if you don't want to use the default. I don't recommend changing it here. There's actually a place inside the portal where you can change it and you won't encounter any issues. Sometimes uploading it here leads to some problems. Announcements work just like they do for the JIRA announcement banner inside JIRA itself. We'll get to that in a second. The last thing to notice here is that you can actually choose who has the power to add an announcement. We'll leave it as it is. Now it's time to take a look at our portal by clicking on the View and Customize link up the top. We now find ourselves in the Help Center, which is the main area for all portals that exist in our Service Desk instance. Next, I'm going to click on the IT Help link to bring up the request types in my IT Help project. This is the portal that any customer would see when they want to access the IT Help project. The first thing you should notice here is that the groups should match exactly to what we have configured within the Service Desk project settings. You'll also see the placeholder text for the welcome message and title. At the top, you'll see my new request type, mouse request, and also the new group I created with the existing get IT help request type. So at this point, it should start becoming more clear what exactly you, as the service desk administrator, are configuring for the end user or customers. Let's start by creating a mouse request ticket. Because of this portal's settings, I have to choose a user to raise this request on behalf of. I'm logged into JIRA, so I select myself. If I had other agents created, I would be able to select one of them instead. I then type a summary and click Create. This page is what the customer will see when creating a new request, and all the history will be added here. This is the #1 benefit of Service Desk, a very simple issue creation system for customers, without the complexities of JIRA. As the customer, there are a few other things I can do at this point: add comments or screenshots, escalate the issue, or view any updates. I can also share this issue from here if it's supported. One other thing to notice on this page is the request link at the top right of the screen, which allows me, as the customer, to view all open requests that I have now. Customers can use this list to quickly view all open requests and get status updates on them. The portal should have been opened in a new tab, so what I'm going to do is go back to my settings page on a previous tab. Next, I'm going to click on Email Requests. What this does is it allows you to set up an email address to process certain types of requests automatically. Once configured, users will be able to simply email the address you specify to automatically create a new Service Desk request. You can also set the request type here. Next, let's click on Customer Notifications. Here we see a list of all the default rules that trigger an email notification to the customer. For example, the first rule, Request Created, will send an email to the customer confirming the request was received. These can be tweaked or customized for a variety of different rule sets. Next, we'll click on Satisfaction Settings. This simple setup will allow you to specify a question to be sent to the user when the issue has been resolved. Later on, I'll show you how to actually access the metrics for this specific question. The next section, Knowledge Base, only applies to those customers with linked Confluence instances. After creating a linked Confluence instance, you can create pages with labels on them. You then reference these labels in this setup area. What I've done is created a new page in my Confluence instance with the label mouse. Now, when I go back to my portal to file a new request and I simply search for mouse, you'll see that I actually now have this linked page that I can go to. As a customer, I can reference this page and it may actually contain the information I need without actually having to file a request. This can be really helpful because if you're getting a large amount of requests for a simply solved issue, you can take away a lot of the tickets that are being filed against that specific issue by simply creating a knowledge base page. Going back to the sections for knowledge base, you can see that you also have the ability to adjust permissions and restrict what articles are displayed. You don't have to restrict these pages by labels, but it does help. If you have a lot of different pages that it's simply searching against, it may bring up a lot of results on your portal that aren't necessarily relevant to what the user is actually looking to file. So by labeling these pages, you make sure that the user is only seeing information that's directly relevant to the support request that is being filed. Next up, we have SLAs. SLA is short for Service Level Agreement. In a nutshell, what it means is that the agreed upon time the agent should take to solve the issue. This was a very large request for the team at Atlassian when standard JIRA started to be used around the world, and is certainly one of the main driving factors for Service Desk as a whole. Allow me to break down these configuration features with a common SLA, time to resolution. Essentially what this means is the total time the ticket is alive from its inception to the moment it reaches a resolved state. By default, we have the SLA set to start when the issue is created and has no resolution, as displayed here. There are no settings when the timer should be paused, as displayed here. The system will stop the timer when the ticket has reached its resolved state, as displayed here. Let's say our queues are getting filled up with these types of tickets, so it's no longer really fair for our agents to be expected to resolve them as quickly as they may have been in the past. What we will do is select Edit, and then in the Pause column, we will select Status under Review. We then save our work. So what we've done is essentially say to JIRA, we only want this time counted when it's not in the under review status. Now, as long as our connected workflow has the under review status, the SLA timer will not count while it's in this kind of triage state. Below that, you'll see the goals section. Here is where we set our time goals for our different issue types. As you can see, our service request issue type is 8 hours. With a 9 to 5 calendar. What this means is that the timer will only count during the workday and not in the middle of the night or on weekends. This allows you to further tune your SLAs to make them adhere to the working hours of your company. The final setting is automation. Again, I want to remind you that all these requests are built against standard workflows within JIRA itself. However, there may be times or circumstances that you want to make sure that these tickets transition to certain states without agent or customer involvement. This can't be done in standard JIRA without development or plugins. It can, however, be done in Service Desk with the help of automations. So by default, your Service Desk instance should have 3 default automations. The first one is transition on comment. This one's fairly self-explanatory. Essentially, with all the standard workflows in Service Desk, you have statuses such as waiting on customer and waiting on support. So if it's waiting on customer and the customer then adds a comment, it will automatically transition into the waiting on support status. Update when a linked issue changes. You can actually link tickets to other tickets, and you can have those tickets automatically update with comments when the link tickets are updated. This last one, auto close after being resolved for 3 business days, is pretty cool. Essentially, if you're getting a high volume of tickets and you don't want to task the agents with having to close them out, you can just have it automatically close them out after a set amount of time, in the default case 3 business days. As you can probably guess, automations are an awesome tool for JIRA Service Desk. Proper integration allows you to not only make your agent's job easier, it also makes sure you are maximizing your team's efficiency and only having them focus on the things that matter. Let's take a common problem, users responding to already closed tickets, and solve it using automation. Customers have a somewhat bad habit of trying to get work done quickly by simply responding to old tickets. This might be because the issue wasn't resolved, or maybe they have a new problem and don't want to open a new ticket. So what we're going to do is create a new rule that automatically reopens any closed ticket if a customer adds a new comment to it. So I'm going to click Add Rule, and then I'm going to select the Reopen on Customer Comment rule. These pre-filled rules are not only a great way to save time in rule creation, but also to give you tips on how to create and customize your own rules in the future. So I'm going to click Next, then I'm presented with all 3 sections of the rule. When, if, and then. When lists the event or events that make the automation work. If are the specific conditions that must be present that are checked after the when conditions are met. And then is the automation that actually happens. So if I hover over when, I'll see that it's when a comment is added. If I hover over if, I'll see that the ticket must be resolved, the person making the comment is a customer, and the comment is public. If I hover over then, I'll see that the ticket returns to the reopen status via its workflow transition. You can also add multiple if conditions if you'd like. Now, I'd like to make one note. Be careful trying to implement these via non-Service Desk workflows. These automated transitions are built within workflow properties inside Service Desk and are not as easily integrated with non-Service Desk workflows. XPM, of course, has experience in customizing your workflows for Service Desk if needed. So now we are going to name the rule and click Save to add the automation to our rule set. Now we're going to leave our settings and take a look at some of the other features. First, I'm going to click in queues. This is a list of currently open issues. Your agents can look at these queues as they work on tickets throughout the day. As you can see, there are many quick filters already listed here, and more can be added via simple UI commands after clicking New Queue. Let's go back to the All Open queue though. Now this is important to understand. These requests are the same ones that live in the customer portal. They are just on the agent side of things now. If I click on one of my mouse request tickets, it should look pretty similar to what you're used to seeing in JIRA. Here the agent can add comments to the ticket or resolve it him or herself. Off to the right, you can see the additional SLA metrics that are built against this issue type. This field dynamically updates when new SLA rule sets are added into the system, provided the issue meets the JQL requirements specified. Let's add a comment here. Now, I've got a couple of options. I can share with the customer or I can comment internally. Commenting internally is good for when you want to share information about this ticket with other team members, but you don't want the customer themselves to see it. However, for this case, I do want the customer to see it, so I click Share with Customer. I then go back to the request in the portal, I'll reload the page, and as you can see, the comment has actually been added here. This happens instantly, and the customer is updated of the change via email as well. The next important feature I want to show you is reports. This is where all the metrics for your SLA configuration are measured and displayed, such as time to first response or SLA success rate. As you can see by my metrics, I am pretty amazing. The last few items I just want to touch on real quick. Raise a request is a shortcut to the portal within JIRA itself to easily file tickets to your service desk project. Knowledge base is a shortcut that allows you to look for existing articles within your Confluence instance that are linked to this service desk project. Customer channels is a shortcut to the portal URL and incoming email address for this project. Invite team allows you to invite new agents to your project. All of these tools are helpful to agents working on this project. I hope you've enjoyed our intro to Service Desk. This should clear up some of the differences between it and core JIRA products. Remember, we are only an email away if you or your company ever needs help. We hope to hear from you soon. Have a great day.